Welcome to day 2 of the 2007 Swedish Rally. It's been an eventful start for the crews who've struggled with deeper snow than expected. Danny Sordo was the first driver to suffer as he ploughed off on stage 2. Tony Gardemeister led the rally after Thursday night's Super Special, but on the second stage he also found a snowbank. He survived and starts today 6th. Italian Gigi Gali made a welcome return, this time in a Citroen Zara. He posted a fastest stage time and was as high as 2nd. But then, on stage 5, he also slid off the road, losing over 4 minutes and plummeting out of contention. Jari-Matti Latvala in his Stobart Ford worked his way into the points, only to do this. But the worst day went to Chevy Ponce. He went off the road on stage 2, but survived. Only to have his throttle stick on stage 5, careering him into the snow again, and this time out of the rally. For Petter Solberg, it was an altogether better day. He took the lead on stage 2, a position he hasn't held since Argentina last year. The afternoon stages saw him lose time after a poor tyre choice, but he still starts the day 3rd. Marcus Gronholm had a slow start to the day, the fresh snow catching him out. He dropped as low as 4th on the morning loop of stages, but he hit back hard in the afternoon and claimed the lead of the rally from Solberg. World champion Sebastian Loeb stalled in the Super Special on Thursday night and started the day in 20th. But the Frenchman was soon into his stride, posting the C4's first stage win on snow and ice on stage 4. He finished the day in 2nd overall, just over 2 seconds behind Gronholm. So, after 8 stages, Gronholm has an 11.1 second lead over his arch-rival Loeb. Petter Solberg is 3rd, closely followed by his brother Henning. Mikko Hirvonen is just over 3 seconds behind in 5th. Day 2 is the longest leg of the rally with 142 competitive kilometres. Stage 10 is also the longest at a shade over 34 kilometres, while stage 12 is a revisit to Vargassen and the now famous Collins Crest jump. It's going to be another action-packed day. And it all starts with a quick sprint through the 10.5 kilometres of stage 9. Mikko Hirvonen starts 5th overall, just 3.1 seconds behind Henning Solberg in 4th. Mikko's determined to improve on his personal best of 9th here in Sweden. Solberg can't quite match Hirvonen's pace through here. He's a second slower, and Mikko is getting too close for comfort. Henning's younger brother Petter, meanwhile, had a terrific start to the rally, leading early on, but he's struggled to match the pace of Gronholm and Loeb since yesterday afternoon. Again, Solberg's the best of the rest, but is still lagging behind the front 2. Loeb begins the day just 11.1 seconds behind the leader, Gronholm. It took the world champion just a handful of stages to get up to speed on snow and ice in the new C4, a testament to the Frenchman's incredible skill behind the wheel. Let's find out how confident Seb's feeling this morning.
I tried really hard. Good drive, no mistake, no big mistakes. Sometimes it was a limit because it's a narrow stage, and okay, the feeling was good.
When Loeb is in this sort of mood, it generally means bad news for his rivals. Marcus will have to be at his very best to stay ahead today. It's certainly going to be a thrilling contest to watch the best 2 rally drivers in the world going head-to-head at one of the most spectacular events of the year. And we're about to find out who's made the best start to leg 2.
120.
It's low. Gronholm is 1.2 seconds slower, and the world champion is now within 10 seconds.
Marcus, it's a loss of 1.2 to Sebastian. Are you concerned about that?
Yeah, he's also crazy. He wants to win. Yeah. I don't give up.
He's making you work, isn't he?
Yeah.
The crews head into the longest stage of the rally next at 34.5 kilometres. Gronholm and Lobe locked in a battle of their own, and there's only just over 8 seconds separating 4th, 5th and 6th. Mikko Hirvonen is in the heart of that three-way battle. He starts in 5th, just 2.1 seconds behind Henning Solberg. A frustrating start yesterday for the Finn with those steering problems, but he certainly wasted little time getting back up to speed today. He'd set himself the target of a podium finish before the event, and passing Henning would put him one step closer to that goal. Here's Henning Solberg now. So it's Works Ford against the Norwegian Stobart Ford. They both come from the same M Sport stable, but you can bet there's still a healthy rivalry between the teams. Solberg was a second slower than Mikko on the first stage this morning. It's very close, but he's slower again here. Henning holds on to his position by just 0.3 of a second. Henning's brother Petter is more concerned with staying in touch with the leading pair. Off he goes. The Impreza's engine roars to life through this normally peaceful winter landscape. Petter has already begun to slip adrift of Sebastian Loeb. He's starting this stage 16 seconds back, and he really is attacking hard here.
And 4, right, tightens, neat. Right, 2 right minus, tightens, 1 plus blah. Opens 14. Crest and 6 right plus.
Oh, but he's off. Like so many others before him, he's stuck on the edge of the road in a deep ditch filled with snow. And unless there's some particularly strong spectators nearby, this could be the end of the road for Petter's hopes of a good finish. He's trying desperately hard to force the Impreza back on the road, but he just can't get the traction to get out of the roadside ditch. Oh, this must be incredibly frustrating for the Norwegian and co-driver Phil Mills. Loeb, meanwhile, is about to start the stage. When Petter's split times stop coming through, he'll be aware there may be a problem for the man in third. And it all means Seb and co-driver Daniel Elena can concentrate completely on chasing down Marcus Gronholm. Well, there is Petter. He's still going nowhere for now. Loeb's able to pass without too much delay. Once again, though, more disappointment for Solberg. Marcus Gronholm has little concern for Petter as all his focus is on the chasing Loeb. Marcus began this long stage 9.9 seconds ahead of the Frenchman. There's the Citroën man's time, and the Finn will have been reacting to Seb's splits throughout the test. Up to now, there's been very little between them. One last charge through the final couple of bends. It's going to be too close to call. He's quicker, but only just 0.6 of a second between them after 34.5 kilometres.
Marcus, you said this morning that Sebastian was maybe crazy with the speed he took and the time he took from the first stage. You've just beaten him in there, so that must mean you're crazy.
I think we are both crazy. In fact, I lost in the start on the first one this morning because I was spinning a lot, and that the second came from there. But now
Now I was already in front 3 seconds here in the mid in one split, but I think I lost a little bit towards the end.
Solberg still holds third place. It's Henning, though, who moves up following his brother's mistake. Mikko Hirvonen is just 0.3 of a second behind. Up front, Marcus Gronholm keeps Loeb at arm's length for now. 10.5 seconds separate the top two. Back at the service park in nearby Hagfors, and a chance to reflect on an enthralling resumption on the fight for victory.
Marcus don't want to let me come back, and he was pushing hard also, and so we've done I think 45 kilometers for only 0.6 second difference, so it's really close and it's a big battle.
It's difficult because the gaps are not nothing, in fact.
Are you enjoying this? Are you relishing this battle you're having with him?
No, of course, a little bit enjoying, yes, but it could be a little bit more seconds in my favor. It would be easier.
Solberg finally drags the Subaru back to service, but he's lost a massive 14 minutes.
Should I just backed off a little bit and not pushed to the limit, and so I did a mistake, and that's it. I know I have the answer, but I should just back off a little bit and learn from it, but it's difficult sometimes.
There's another 5 stages to go today, and only 10 seconds separates the top 2 drivers. Stay with us to watch this battle unfold. Welcome back to the Swedish Rally. An intriguing afternoon ahead then as the crews head on to stages 11 and 12. There's only 10.5 seconds between the top 2, and anything can happen in that battle for third. Mikko Hirvonen has shown terrific pace so far today, with 2 top 4 stage times already this morning. Ford's number 2 starts stage 11 in 4th, just 0.3 of a second behind Henning Solberg, remember, so he's pushing hard to claim what is now a podium place after Petter Solberg's disastrous start to the day. He needs to beat that target to claim third, and he should do that here. Yes, great stuff from Mikko. He's now 5.4 seconds ahead of Henning. And there's more bad news for the Norwegian. Tony Gardemeister sets the second fastest time on stage 11, and he too passes the Stobart Ford man. He claims 4th by just half a second. It's all very tight though, and there's still very little between these 3 Scandinavians as Henning takes on stage 12. He'll be frustrated to have lost third place so quickly, but falling behind Gardemeister has added insult to injury. Solberg and co-driver Kato Menkerud look like they mean business here near the end of the Vargassen test. And it's a great response from Henning, and he moves up into 4th place. Here's second place, Sebastian Loeb. He's changed his tyre choice for these stages, but it remains to be seen if he's gone the right way. The pace Seb and Marcus Gronholm have been setting this morning has been classed as crazy by both men. Surely they can't keep this up indefinitely. At up to 200 kilometers an hour on ice and snow, there's no margin for error. Something has got to give, but these 2 champions will not want to back off for a second. Loeb's 9.6 seconds slower through the stage, which almost doubles the gap between himself and Marcus. So once again, it looks like not even the great Sebastian Loeb can match Gronholm's frightening pace in Sweden. Take a look at the speeds reached here in stage 12. Rarely out of 5th gear and over 160 kilometers an hour. Incredible stuff from Marcus. The Finn is continuing to press home his advantage here. And this could be the time that completely destroys Loeb's hopes of a win. This is going to be very, very quick. Yes, another 7.5 seconds gained. His lead is now 27.6. Using Virtual Spectator, we can compare Grönholm and Loeb's performances through the first and second runnings of the Vargassen stage. Loeb had the better of Grönholm in the first run, and Seb's normally the master at improving his pace on the repeated runs. But just look at the second run here. Grönholm's completely destroyed the world champion, as well as smashing his own time. Loeb may have been affected by that tyre choice, but it's still a great effort from the Ford driver. After two stages then, Marcus Grönholm has reasserted his dominance of the Swedish Rally. He now holds an advantage of nearly half a minute ahead of Loeb. The battle for third is still very much alive though. Just over 14 seconds separate Hirvonen, Solberg and Gardemeister as the crews head back to service.
I was pushing it quite hard.
Going crazy.
Not crazy, but it was really good feeling, and the car was turning, yeah, and really where it should, and really good feeling. I don't know if Lööf was doing some mistake or something. I don't know.
But I had a wrong tire choice, so too long studs, so the tire was moving. We decided to try to be better in the tire choice, and it was worse. So okay, it was nothing to do.
You know, you have a good feeling from yesterday from those stages, so not too bad.
Taking the third position, are you going to stay there?
Well, I'll try, but I'm sure Henning and Tony, they're not going to give up. So I still need to push hard and just try to avoid any mistakes.
On to stage 13, but Petter Solberg isn't taking part. He's retired after his off this morning, the team deciding to preserve the car for Norway. Tony Gardemeister lost his position to Henning Solberg on the last stage. The Finn, who finished third here for Ford 2 years ago, is less than 4 seconds behind his rival. And it would be a real boost to his hopes of rejoining a works team to get a strong result. It's a tough task for the drivers outside the top teams to make a consistent impact in the WRC. Mikko Hirvonen, who's third, is a driver who did manage to get his way back from the cold. He was dropped by Subaru at the end of 2004, spending a year as a privateer and doing enough to earn a seat with Ford. He's an encouraging example. Hirvonen's determined to hold on to his podium position. Last year, remember, he was third when engine failure scuppered his chances. Just behind him is Henning Solberg. He trails Hirvonen by 10.5 seconds, and he's less than 4 seconds ahead of Tony Gardemeister. Like Mikko, he'd love to finish in the top 3, but first he'll want to increase the margin between himself and Tony. He's going to be faster, but by how much? 6.8 seconds. He's now 10.7 ahead of his rival overall, but at the end of the stage, he's more concerned with the gap to Hirvonen ahead.
Henning, you're asking if the time's okay. It's half a second better in your favour to Mikko. It's not very much, but at least it's getting there.
It's a little bit. Everything is a little bit, so yeah, car is working perfect.
Sebastian Loeb put in a stupendous drive on stage 9, but that tyre choice cost him on stages 11 and 12. So he comes into Frederiksberg 27.5 seconds behind the rally leader. The C4 already looks like a worthy replacement for the all-conquering Zara, and the team tell us that his new car, which is wider than the Zara with a lower centre of gravity, is faster and more stable on medium corners, giving it an advantage over its predecessor. Well, that's just what the other teams will have wanted to hear. Another winner from the Citroën stable. But right now, of course, it's the Focus which is winning. Marcus Grönholm's lead extending as the afternoon wears on. The Finn is a master on this surface. As a 10-year-old, he got his first car and started messing around on the snow. He made his competitive debut 20 years ago, and that was on a snow rally. This really is second nature to him, and he looks completely confident. Even so, he can't afford to let the Frenchman edge back into the battle. There's Seb's stage time. And once again, Marcus is much faster, 6.9 seconds. His lead now 34.5.
Marcus, looking at the stage results, you must be happy that 6.9 quicker than Sebastian. He's just told me he's looking at the bigger picture. He's going for second. He's looking at the championship already.
Okay, good for me. Okay, but hey, still it's many stages to go, so we will see.
So Marcus's lead is starting to look secure. Loeb's now 31 seconds ahead of Hirvonen, who in turn still has a 10-second advantage over Henning Solberg. Behind Henning, Tony Gardemeister is separated from 6th place Daniel Carlsen by nearly a minute. There's 2 stages to go here in Sweden. Can Sebastian Loeb hit back and at least give himself a fighting chance for day 3? Before we see the action from the final forest stage of the day here in Sweden, let's catch up with some of the competitors further down the order. Daniel Carlsen is flying the flag for his home nation. He's still getting used to his Citroën Zara and listening to English pace notes read by new co-driver Dennis Girardet for the first time. He's 6th. Behind him is Chris Atkinson. The Australian more at home with surfboards than snowboards, and he's not got a great deal of experience on the white stuff. No real dramas today, he's 7th. Behind him is the 2nd OMV Kronos Citroën, Manfred Stoll, another driver who hasn't really ever shone here. In fact, he's never had a great deal of luck at this event. Points are his priority. 1 place behind him is Jari-Matti Latvala. This is only his 3rd time competing in Sweden, and he's currently in the running for a manufacturer's point at least. So to stage 14, and a reminder that Gronholm has a 34.5 second lead over Loeb, with Hirvonen another 30 seconds further back. There's bad news though for Tony Gardemeister. He was late to start the stage and has incurred a 50-second time penalty. Tony was carrying out a routine tyre change on the road section. When he set off again, he discovered there was no drive to the front wheels, and he didn't have time to fix it. Now, with only rear-wheel drive, he's losing even more time. So that should be a relief to Henning Solberg, who can now concentrate not on Gardemeister behind him, but on Hirvonen ahead.
Line til 4 høyre, åpner 280.
Oh, but this won't help his cause. He had a real chance to make some headway on this stage, but it looks like he's blown it. That will have hurt him. The pressure was on, and he lost his cool. So that mistake allows Mikko Hirvonen to pull away from the Norwegian, extending the gap between them to 26 seconds, taking him 1 step closer to that coveted 3rd place. The Finn had a great run of podiums at the end of last year and looks to be back in form. Ahead, Sebastian Loeb's decided that the loss of time on stages 11 and 12 has made chasing the lead into an impossibly risky task. Instead, he's keeping it safe and tidy, driving within himself, which still means he's quicker than many of his rivals. The only man faster than him on stage 14 is Marcus Gronholm. He's won every stage today apart from the very first one. A fine day's rallying, and it shows in his position. The 4 times winner of this event leads the rally by nearly 38 seconds. Gronholm's faced up to and seen off the challenge of the Frenchman and is looking good for 1st place. After stage 15, another quick run through the Hagfors sprint. Here's the leaderboard. Gardemeister now down in 8th behind Stoll, then Atkinson 6th, Carlsen 5th, and Henning Solberg still 4th despite his spin.
Marcus, still comfortably leading and still pushing?
Yeah, pushing, yes, a little bit, but no risks and just middle of the road. trying to really do good times, but yeah.
You enjoy the conditions?
Yeah, it's okay, fine. Tomorrow it will be a little bit more gravel, I guess, on the stages. It will be quite difficult for the tires and the studs, but same for everybody.
Do you think it's Marcus's superior knowledge of the conditions and everything that is helping him here?
Yeah, I think it's a bit the same every year. We try to do sometimes some tire choice different from him, and he's always right here in Sweden. In general, in other rallies, we do some good choice, but yeah, he has a bit more experience, I think.
Well, that's another action-packed day from the Swedish Rally. And for those of you that want more, check out the news and views on WRC.com. Join us again tomorrow. But for now, it's goodbye.
I think we are both crazy.